In this video, I'm going to show you how to solve the ALEKS problem called Organization of the Periodic Table. This problem is going to give you the description of 4 different atoms from the periodic table, and it's asking you to see if you can find an element that has an atomic number of less than or equal to 92 that matches that particular description. So this atomic number Z is less than or equal to 92. This is going to be the number of protons in the element. And this is the number on the periodic table that we see, like for Sc, scandium, its number is 21. So the first description that I have in this problem is asking me to find an element that is in period 1 and group 1A. The periods are the horizontal or side-to-side rows on the periodic table. My periodic table doesn't have them numbered, so I'm going to number them right now. So an element that is in period 1 is referring to an element that is in this particular row on the periodic table, and it, don't forget, goes all the way across to the other side. So this helium is also part of period 1. The groups are the vertical columns on the periodic table, and these are typically numbered on periodic tables. There are 2 different numbering systems. One uses Roman numerals and a letter, or a number and a letter, and that's what ALEKS uses as well. So this is referring to group 1A. Do we have an element that is in period 1 and group 1A? Yes, we do. So we're going to say yes to that, and the symbol for that element is hydrogen. For the second element, it's asking for a metalloid. Metalloids are over on the right-hand side of the periodic table, and on this periodic table, I have them all shaded in orange. So these are all the metalloids. When you're looking at your periodic table, they're going to be in some sort of color, or they'll be, boxed in, or some way of identifying them. We're looking for a metalloid that is in group 5A. Remember, the groups are the vertical columns on the periodic table, so we're going to find group 5A. We've got group 5A right here, and there are 2 metalloids that are in group 5A, so we're definitely wanting to say yes. We want to make sure when we're looking at these, we need to find one that has an atomic number of less than 92. Both of these do. So we could answer either one of these elements in this spot. It only wants us to give the symbol for one of them, so I'm going to choose arsenic, AS, but you also could have chose SB there, either one. Now we are being asked to locate an alkali metal that has a lower atomic number than chlorine. So let's go back to our periodic table and let's label some of these areas. The first column on the periodic table, these elements here are also referred to as the alkali metals. That's what this problem is asking about. And in other problems, they might not ask you about an alkali metal. They might ask you about an alkaline earth metal. So that would be in column 2A. Can't spell and talk at the same time. Another thing that you might be asked about on this particular problem would be a halogen. Those are all the way over here, so these are our halogens. And another thing you might get asked about would be noble gases, which are in this last column right here. So those are the noble gases. We're looking for an alkali metal, so that's the same thing as an element that is in group 1A, and we want one that has a lower atomic number than chlorine, lower atomic number than chlorine. So let's find chlorine on the periodic table, and let's see what its atomic number is. Chlorine is over here, and its atomic number is 17. So we're looking for an alkali metal that has an atomic number less than 17. That could be either hydrogen or lithium or sodium. They all have an atomic number less than 17. Their atomic numbers are 1 and 3 and 11. So we'll say yes to this, and then we can answer any one of these elements in this spot. We could either answer hydrogen or Li or Na. And the last thing that I'm being asked about here is to locate a transition metal that is in period 4. So remember, the periods are the horizontal rows on the periodic table. I've got this numbered, periodic 4. Where are the transition metals located? So I'm just going to need to kind of zoom out a little bit on this periodic table. The transition metals are all of these elements in this spot right here. And just in case you're being asked about a different type of element, another thing that might come up in this question, a lanthanide, that's going to be the elements that are in this particular row. An actinide would be the elements that are in this particular row. And then another thing that might come up would be nonmetals or metals. The nonmetals are all elements that are over to the right of the metalloids, and the metals are all on the left-hand side of the metalloid. And as far as I'm guessing, those are the different types of things that you could be asked in this question. So we're looking for a transition element that's in period 4. This is our period 4, and that means any one of these guys right here would be an example of a transition element that's in period number 4. So we definitely can say yes, and then we can list any one of those elements as an appropriate answer for this question. I'm going to just go with the first one, SC.